Hey everyone, if you are new here, welcome to Confidence Rewired. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you have been following Regina Chris-Ogbodo's journey, you already know how raw and real it has been. In part 1, she opened up about the shock of becoming a teen mom. In part 2, she shared the weight of judgment, isolation, and the silent battles she faced. But today in part 3, we turn a corner. This is where the light breaks through. She shares a moment she realized her story wasn't over, the light bulb moment that pushed her to get back to school and begin reclaiming her future. This is the part of the journey where hope starts speaking louder than shame and confidence slowly rises from ashes. Let's dive right in.
Believability.
Yeah.
How do you explain to the dad that, look, this is what I'm hearing. You look like you're lying. You sounded like you're not telling the truth. And you wanted, for peace sake, I'm not quarreling with anybody, just let her be in a place that I would know. Even when I visited, there is a closeness that would be misinterpreted.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that meant? Trauma. And so all I would do is assure her that, look, I love you. I remember visiting her in school when she was in primary school. And I visited the teacher and I gave a gift. I think it was money. It was an open day and I decided to go there. I didn't even know that was an open day, actually. I actually visited. And so it was a good thing. And so her mom at home didn't go. And I went. Just a thank you. Wasn't a bribe. And I have never allowed anybody, I never even told, she had always called me mother. And so it's always mother, mommy one, mommy two, or something, that the way they.
Yeah.
This particular day, I decided, okay, thank you. Oh, who are you, mom? I said, oh, I'm Nancy's mom. Maybe you should have told me not to call her mom. Let them know. And it was not a funny thing. I wasn't the one confronted. It was my daughter that was dealt with. I can tell you similar stories in different forms. That my visit would always sound like trouble for my child. Whenever I'm going back to school, I'm already crying in the bus. I'm asking God, please, let me just finish. Let me just be done with this. I can't wait to get home. But people look at it because where she was, she was staying. Her father, the conclusion is she must be doing well. I endured a lot. I made her not to tell me a lot. Sometimes she would want to, I say, no, don't tell me. Because I knew it was affecting me mentally.
Yeah.
So I shut down and I wanted her, I knew she would survive. So I wanted, when it's time, I would do the needful. And I thank God that it happened. I thank God that eventually, well, of course, we reunited,
Oh, that's good. That's a beautiful experience. Yeah, it's not a palatable one, but it's a beautiful experience. Your Rishi Jaffo that always say when you see the glory, you don't know there is a story behind the glory.
Yes, it's him.
And we will still get there. We must not miss that because you must tell us about where you are now in your daughter you're actually talking about. We'll get there, but before we get there, now let's look at the moment. That's your light bulb moment. Even if it's just a whisper from you or from somewhere or from something, and you said, no, Regina, you are more than this. Regina, you are going to be great. You have to move ahead. You have to move on. That this is not you. You have to get out of your shadows and really step out. And so tell us that light bulb moment that you had, that you now said, no, enough. I'm done.
Like I told you from the onset that I can't tell a story without weaving around my father in the Lord.
Yeah.
I had great, eventually I had parents. My father never hid the fact that he wanted me back in school. Reconciliation happened. One of the things that, I even forgot to tell you, because we were off communication, my father and I, for 2 years. And that was another traumatic, you could write a letter and nobody responds to it. Nobody replies, rather. To our father, you just wanted to hear, I've forgiven you. And he didn't. It took 2 years. And
silence.
Yes,
Silence. Yeah.
It was dead silence. My sibling, my big sister, my direct big sister will write or ask his daddy, say he's fine, he's doing good, don't worry, you'll get out of it. I just wanted to hear that voice. The moment he came, my daughter was almost 2+. She was 2+. The day he came by himself to Abeokuta, I think that was the biggest light bulb moment for me. That was the beginning. They gave me a ray of hope, but did not stop me from falling into that depression and the traumatic experience that I told you about. But then I knew that there was an open door. I could visit home then. And the first holiday I had, it was a Christmas holiday. It was like, my mom sat me down, told me, you've learned your lessons. And it was not being told me, but I heard it firsthand that my parents had forgiven me and they were already praying that I went further. But of course, that didn't happen immediately, because as I returned to Abeokuta, those other forces that I'm talking about,
of course, they were still there. They were still present.
Wow. So there was the shorty that I know that my parents were cool with me, but then I needed that. And I recall, and for whatever reason, maybe when he watches it, he would tell me why he did that. My father-in-law, Bishop, would give me 10 tapes. Back in the day, were tapes of sermons. He gave me 10 of Bishop Michael Okonkwo, 10 of a pastor, is it Reverend Adegboye?
Okay.
10.
George Adegboye. Yeah.
George, good. Of Rema Chapel, I think. Yeah. Rema, yeah.
Rema, yeah.
10. And asked me to listen. And I would ask him, what for? I was that audacious, rudely audacious. I thank God for him. So why do I want to? You say, listen to them and jot down everything. So that was the cast. I would always have to give him a report of what I heard. So I listened. And George Adegboye was about faith. I would listen over and over and over. It became, at first, it looked like force, but then I began to enjoy that. Every morning, my neighbors could hear it. I would increase the volume and I would listen. It seeped in without my knowledge. Bishop Mike's preaching, I would listen. That's why some titles I could tell. I remember them. And then I began to see the reality of who I really am in God.
Yeah.
I began to see myself in the mirror from the perspective of God's eye. From the perspective of God. And I began to tell myself, look, you can do this now. What is all this? How many ladies that have had a baby that cannot have gone to school and they tell us a story? But it wasn't as common. It was a secret. Some people kept it a secret. So they were not bold, and I don't blame them anyways. But then it didn't help, because some of them came out of the pain and became something. And if only they could share it, I think less experience. Some people would. I know of someone that committed suicide because of that. I know of a young lady around my time, where I grew up, that we had similar situation. Today, if they tell you she and I are age mates, you would swear. Because she had to go marry just anybody, because she was told that nothing good could come out. But when you have an example, you look at someone that you could look up to and say, this person did this. This has happened to that person. But look at it. She has picked up her pieces and she's here. She's willing
That's
to
you. That's you.
which is what I want. I am trusting God that every
That's
day.
what life would do to people. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I'm not glorying, I'm not excited about the story. Sometimes when I say it, I have some guilt, but then the joy that comes from it is that, look, despite that, this is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like someone says, life would never have a straight line. There would always be curves. Some people that go through the curves don't want to come out and tell the people that, look, I had curves. It's just that I'm on a straight line. Or people were thrown, instead of the tangerines, they were thrown lemons. And they decided to make lemonade
Make lemonade from it. Yeah.
They drank it and never left remnants to tell people, look at my lemonade. That's what I made out of what life threw at me.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the things that we didn't have mentorship. We didn't have willing mentors that would come out. That's why the likes of Bishop Oke stood out and will always stand out.
Yeah.
That was willing to intentionally mentor. I always describe him as a David that got the dejected, the downtrodden, portion of never do well.
Yeah.
That's him. And gathered us and pumped that word of God in us, put the confidence in us that today, look at us. We are giants to the glory of God. Yeah. And so those are the things that happened to me. And so I didn't have anybody telling me. I couldn't get an example. I didn't even know. It looked like everywhere around me, I was the only one. And that's where the volume of the trauma can come.
The problem,
because you look like you are the only one that has committed that.
You are the black cat.
In fact. And so you see, the black sheep is really, you just look in the midst of the
No, the sheep is good. Sheep is good. The black cat.
That's it. I was actually the black cat. And so, and anywhere you turn, you see white. Anywhere you turn. So you want to find a thing to withdraw into yourself. I am grateful for the community that I found myself. I can't even tell. This one is divine. I'm grateful to my big brother for allowing me that Sunday morning. Yeah. The music drew me, but I didn't know that I was going for a long healing.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I was going for long healing, because you see, I had a relationship, very interesting one. Let me just tell you. I had a relationship that I felt, it could be worked out. That's why I was this outside the baby's, outside my baby's father. And that guy was willing to forgive. So I thought that, well, now that I'm a good girl, we should pick it up. But then the community that I had, the young people, you guys back in the day, you were this Bible people. When I began to go out of those,
we would not let you.
No matter what, it's like
you would be out of place. Of course, you'd be out of place.
Be unequally yoked with unbelievers. That scripture is in my head like hammer, as if someone hit it. I knew it. I just knew it. Mama Oke said something. When I got to, she might not remember, but she delivered me. She and Reverend Wiwama. She was the first one that did that. One night, I was in the house. I think we stayed overnight. Once in a while we could stay. And then I said, Mommy, I want to talk to you. And I analyzed those things. She was picking her teeth. I can never forget, because I felt, look at this woman. I'm coming with something so serious.
Something serious, and she's taking it with.
So I think she had finished eating. And so I told her, Mommy, I want to see you. She said, why not? In fact, I did not intend to sleep over. But she so bent she dragged. I kept telling me, I will see you. I'll see. And by the time it was the time she was ready, it was quite late, and she commanded me, you're going to sleep over. So don't worry, we'll talk overnight. And so I explained to her, I said, Mommy, I've gone through this, all those trauma. I felt, okay, let me go back. And then she looked at me, she said, do you understand what it is to go with an unbeliever? I felt like it was an insult because I knew that guy. He goes to church now. Which one it is? But I couldn't tell her. She told me, she said, okay. She looked at me in my eye as if she was reading my mind and said, Regina, this is what we do. You know what? Serve God. You and I'll be praying for you. If it's the will of God, you will see him come back. If it's not, you will never. And don't bother yourself. That was what she said. She said, by the time you're ready to marry, you'll be shocked at who would come. I just said, thank you, Lola. I just said, thank you. It didn't make sense. I thought she was just, massaging me, just making me to feel goody. Your ego. Like, I know this guy is a big, yes, he would go on, but that was something that was sown in my spirit. I began to cut off within me. I began to cut off. So I was preparing my mind towards anything. I just found myself like anything that goes fine, and I go, what has happened. Oh, this is me. Let me move on. And then you see how the devil does? One day, right at the doorstep, you guys never knew. I'm telling you secrets today. Knock on my door. Guess who came?
Who did?
That same person.
Really?
And my spirit was saying, hey, Reverend Bola could not be telling the truth. That's what it is. And it came, and we cried. We forgave each other. You shouldn't have done this. La la la. He was a military. He was a military. He's a retired Air Vice Marshal today. Sorry if you're hearing it today. So,
you didn't mention name anyway.
Really. So I felt, but the good thing was I was already a believer. I had my boundaries, and I already had that defense shield. I wasn't ready for anybody to play me. And so there was this, I said, no, guy, draw line. No reach there.
We don't pass.
We don't do this here. And there was, he respected that. We stayed, we spoke, we talked about continuing the relationship. And I allowed him to leave. We went back because he came on the military something. But the very moment I watched him go, I knew in my spirit that this wouldn't work. But I still went to Reverend Wiwama. That guy is a straightforward, to the point kind of a guy. He just looks at me and says,
of course.
he didn't care. He just looked at me and said, look at me. His English, I can't forget. Respects that. If you watch it one of these days. Look at me and he said, you are too blessed to mingle with that. It's over. God has something better for you. I said, God has something better. Me like this. He said, mark my words today. You will. He said, go and try it. Go and ask Daddy. He will tell you. Of course, I dared not go to Daddy. I never brought that up because I knew him. But those two people put a shock in me. And this, I kid it not. That was how the relationship, the Holy Ghost just did it. It just died off. I had no desire. I just, well, let's move on. That's how my life began to shift towards fulfilling my promise.
Wow.
I call it God's second chance.
That's beautiful. The next question is, how easy did it come for you to believe in yourself again? Then how did your confidence come? I know it couldn't have been just like that, like a magic wand just waved and it just got restored and things like that. So how easy did it get for you to believe in yourself again? And how did your confidence build up again?
Easy. There's no such word as easy. If you want a real change, don't wait. Don't look for easy. It's not true. And I speak to someone that might be in my shoes today. If you're waiting for easy, soft landing, oh, talk to her nicely. Oh, he's going through it. May God not let you go through that. Because one thing about life is that life itself teaches you, gives you back the punishment you deserve.
Yeah.
Not God, life itself. It comes in a way of you've wasted time, you delay your time, and you get, snitched at, disrespected, called names, rumored on. Those are the punishments I got. To me, those were the repercussions. And I'm not saying it's biblical. God, but you see, God has never promised us that we will not go through this. So I've made a mistake. I broke an edge, the serpent bit, and I got myself together. So, but why I began to tell myself the truth. Those teachings over the years, plus my father's talk, began to tell me, look, you can't wail for so long. You have cried enough. You blamed yourself enough. You have accepted fault, even some that are not supposed to be yours. You have taken the BS, as it were. Now, blow your nose and face your future.
Move on, face it.
That was the point of decision I had to get to. And I knew it was not going to be a walk in the park, which is why the story of my daughter.
After, there's a difference between making a decision and taking steps. So you already made a decision. So what were the small steps you were able to? I know some of them could be sacred steps, some of them could be anything, but what were the small steps you started taking that actually took you from where you were to where you are today?
You see, the first steps were the decision. Okay, not even this decision. I made a decision already in my mind. But the first step was I saw myself already in university. I looked for books. I told you I was a pure science student.
You envisioned yourself.
I saw myself until I knew what I needed to do was to come back to the dream that I have always had. And this time around, it was my choice. I've always wanted to be a broadcaster, and I knew it was easier. And somewhat, my brother was okay with it then. And so what did I do? I didn't have a lesson teacher. Your husband was the only lesson teacher I had. English. Shout out. Because it wasn't that I didn't know English. It wasn't that I was fearful. I never knew I could go back to school because I thought I'd forgotten. And so he called me one day and said, what do you want to do? You sit for WAEC? I say yes. How about the first English? I said I made my English, but I want a straight, result from a particular exam so that I go. And then he said, these are the points. He talks about legislative and structure, talks about essay, composition, and composition. I can't forget. And guess, one day he called me to that small hall and said, let's do it. And began to tell me what to do. You might be shocked. Nancy was right there on the floor, and I would do it. He would bring the books. Do you know what it was? Till tomorrow, give me lexis and structure. I would tear it. I would tear it. And guess what? I came out with an A1 in English. Yes, I did. And so you see, those small steps that we call, I researched for mine. It was an external GCE. I didn't ask my brother for the money. Yeah. I sourced it myself. I did it. And it was not funny. because I didn't want to disturb him. I knew
Yeah.
he had carried enough. And I just told him I was going to sit for it. And he just said, go and read. Oh. If you like, don't read, play. And I told myself I was
That's
going to
another
make it.
thing. That's the words that we hear. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, those were the words. I didn't know. Because he just felt I messed up. Well, but I told myself I'm
It's
going
your
to go
life.
on.
It's your life. Whatever you do with it.
I had never done commercials, but I did commerce. I did government. I did literature has always been my thing. I did economics. Now I think I did mathematics and then the English, the normal English. All of those things, all I read overnight. Sit down, my baby would cry, read them, and inclusive of the exam, the jam. I remember someone holding my baby whilst I did that. I can't forget. So you see the steps I took. I could have chosen to say, since nobody helped me, while we know, in the sea of pity party. But I just told myself, look, I've gone past this pain. Let me just move on. I did that WAEC, and guess what? I had C4 in commerce. When I remember those results, I knew with prayer, but also I had determination. I just told myself. The results came. I don't recall giving my brother the results immediately, but I just knew that, okay, this is enough for my jam. And so that qualified me to fill my jam with confidence. I had back in the days, 5 credits you must have at least with English and maths in it, and all those. So I was cocky. The mathematics I had back in the day was P8, so you're good. I had P8, I was okay because I've never been a number person, but I was cool. It gave me that confidence, and I continued. I had that, and those were my baby steps. Sat for jam. The first one was 168, and I had chosen, because I didn't have an advice, I chose Ife, University of Ife, I remember. Obafemi Awolowo University today. And so I got that. 168 was not too good, wasn't too good, but was fair. And I can tell you, because I never knew I would have to sit for jam twice. It broke my heart, but then I wanted to go back. I had support, I had community, I had a lot going for me in terms of people wanting the best for me. And so that was the push. And I also knew that I needed to make life better for my daughter. So that's it.
What a powerful turning point. To see how Regina Chris-Ogbodo went from standing still in pain to moving forward with purpose is nothing short of inspiring. Her decision to get back to school wasn't just about education, it was about rewriting her story, proving to herself that trauma doesn't have the final say. And even though this was a breakthrough moment, her journey doesn't end here. There is more to unfold in how she continues to rise and rebuild her confidence. And then another tragedy struck. But that is a story for another time. All I can say about that is watch out for that story someday soon. If this part spoke to you, make sure to share it with someone who needs hope today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter of From Trauma to Triumph, where I am bringing another guest. Because every story of survival is a proof that healing is possible.